Shalom Aleichem. I'm coming to you with the 6th chapter of Duties of the Heart, Chovos Halevavos. Let us begin. We are on chapter 6. Alright. How can we make use of the above-mentioned premises to demonstrate the existence of the Creator? When we observe this world, we find that it is composite, made up of many parts, and that not one of its parts was not fashioned and ordered. Hold on. Not one of its parts was not fashioned and ordered. For we perceive with our senses and minds that the world is like a well-built house that is fully furnished. The skies above serve as the ceiling, the earth is spread out like a carpet. The stars are arranged like lamps, and all objects are stored inside like treasures, everything ready for its intended use. Man is like the master of the house, who makes use of everything inside it. The different kinds of plants are provided for his good, and the various animals serve to benefit him, as David said, "You have made him master over the works of your hands, placed all things at his feet. All sheep and cattle, also the beasts of the field, the birds of the heavens, and the fish of the sea, that which moves along ocean paths." In Tehillim, chapter 8, verses 7 through 9. The sequence of sunrise and sunset determines the times of day and night, and the solar ascension and declension produce cold and heat, summer and winter, the different seasons with their blessings, repeating over and over in an unbroken, uniform cycle, as it is written, "Who commands the sun, and it does not shine, who blocks off the stars." In Eov, chapter 9, verse 7. "You make it dark, and it is night." Tehillim 104, verse 20. The circuit of the spheres in their various orbits, the stars and planets, racing along calculated courses at predetermined speeds, never deviating or changing. All these were intended for man's benefit and welfare. As Shlomo said, "He has made everything right in its time. He has also set the world in their heart." Koheles, Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11. There is a time for everything, a moment for all concerns under the heavens. The composite and structured nature of all this is apparent, as a whole and in each of the parts. When we examine plants and animals, we find them to be composed of the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. These elements are distinct and incompatible. We cannot join them in a natural combination, for some change one into the other, and some are incompatible one with the other. When we try to combine them, they quickly break down and change form. Their combination, as wrought by nature, however, is a sound and enduring one until its end comes. Some philosophers were of the opinion that the heavenly spheres, stars, and higher beings are made of the element of fire. David made a similar statement: "Who makes winds his messengers, flaming fire his servants." Tehillim, chapter 104, verse 4. This supports the view just mentioned and not that of Aristotle, who thought that what the heavens are made of is a fifth element. Since all things that exist come from the elements and are combinations of them, and since we know that these elements, because of their disagreement, do not mix on their own, nor do they combine by their nature, it strikes our minds, and we are convinced in our souls, that what unites them is something other than them. What binds them is outside of them, and what combines them forcibly and against their nature is their Creator, who planned and arranged their union. When we examine the four elements themselves, we find that they are combined of matter and form, which correspond to substance or an accident. Their matter is their primal matter, which is the origin of the four elements, their original substance. Their form is that first universal form, which is the root of all forms, whether essential or accidental, such as heat and cold, wetness and dryness, heaviness and lightness, motion and rest, and the like. Composition and combination are evident in the world as a whole and in all of its parts, and its root branches in its roots and branches, in its simple elements and complex beings, in that which is above and that which is below. It follows from our premises, then, that the whole world was brought into existence, since it has been demonstrated that whatever is composite must have been brought into existence. We are bound by logic to believe that the world was brought into existence. This being the case, and since it is impossible for a thing to have made itself, it must be that the world has a maker who started it and brought it into existence. Since it has been demonstrated that there cannot be an infinite series of causes, it follows that the world must have a beginning before which there is no other beginning. A first cause without a cause before it. It is he who formed the world, bringing it into existence out of nothing, aided by nothing, and with nothing as a foundation. As it says in Scripture, I am God who made all things. I alone stretched out the heavens. By myself I spread out the earth. Yeshayahu, chapter 44, verse 24. He stretches out the north over empty space, suspends the globe over nothing. Eov, chapter 26, verse 7. He is the Creator, may He be exalted, whom we have searched for and directed our heart, our thoughts, and minds to find. He is the Eternal One, who is without beginning, the First One, whose eternity is without end. As it says in Scripture, I am the first and I am the last. Yeshayahu, chapter 44, verse 6. I, God, am the first, and it is I who will be at the end. The world has a designer. There are men who say that the world came into existence by chance, without a creator who caused it and who formed it. I find this rather astonishing. How could any rational human being in his right mind entertain such a notion? If one who held such a view were to hear someone make a similar claim about a revolving water wheel used to irrigate a section of a field or a garden, that it came about without the design of a craftsman who invested effort in putting it together, constructing it, and supplying all its parts so that it perform its intended function, he would be amazed by such a statement. Speak slightingly of the one who made it. Consider him a total ignoramus, and be quick to expose him and reject his claim. Now, if such a claim is rejected when it is made about a petty and insignificant little water wheel, which can be made with limited skill and serves a small plot of land, how can one allow himself to make the same claim about the great celestial wheel, which encompasses the entire earth and all of its creatures, which reflects an intelligence so awesome that its essence is beyond the grasp of all human understanding, which serves the well-being of the entire earth and everything in it? How can one say that it all came into being without the intent of a designer, without the planning of the omnipotent intelligence? We all know that where there is no designer's intent, no trace of wisdom or proficiency will be found. Surely you would agree that if a man were accidentally to spill some ink onto a blank sheet of paper, it is impossible that it would take the shape of orderly writing and legible lines, as are written with a pen. If a person were to show us a page of orderly writing, that could only have been writing with a pen, and say that ink had spilled out onto the page and had, on its own, taken the shape of written characters, we would be quick to deny it to his face, as this could not have come about without a purposeful designer. Now, since this appears to us to be an impossibility in regard to written characters, which are merely products of convention, how can one say in regard to something more subtle in its art, more difficult in its achievement, and of boundless depth, that it is without the intent of a designer, without the wisdom of an omnipotent intelligence? All that we have cited in demonstrating the existence of the Creator from the perspective of His works is sufficient for anyone who can understand admit the truth. It is also sufficient to answer those who say that the world is eternal, and to refute their contentions. Know this well. And that is chapter 6 from Chovos Halivavos, Duties of the Heart. All right, have a wonderful day.